Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Just a Person podcast, a show that explores life's highs, lows, and in-betweens. I'm Madison, and this week I sat down with Cassie. We talked about our journey through college, how we adjusted to life post-graduation, and what expectations are placed on you after going to college. Thanks so much for listening, and enjoy the episode. Hi, Cassie.
Hey, Mads. How's it going?
Welcome back. Oh my gosh, what are we on now? Is this your third one?
Yeah, 3 times a charm.
Oh my gosh. You and my cousin Sarah, and my friend Sarah, by the time these all come out this season, you'll all have been on here at least 3 times. So.
Wow. Thank you for having me again.
It'll have to be like SNL when they get the jacket when they host 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to get you guys a jacket.
Yeah, we'll have to wear the jacket. Maybe we'll do like an Instagram Live situation.
Instagram Live. Okay. Are you ready for our question? Ooh.
I'm excited. Give it to me.
Okay. Oops. Okay. Ooh. What was your high and your low of the week?
Oh, okay. I feel like we used to do this in college.
Yeah, this was more of the day, but this is
more of the day, but this is the whole week. Okay, so my high of the week is I'm training in surgery right now at the vet clinic. So honestly, just helping and assisting with that and learning new things has been really exciting for me. The low of the week, I'm trying to think if anything significant happened. Oh, yeah. Max, my dog, he ran into my wall that I've been painting pink. So he has pink fur now.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's not a super large spot, but definitely wasn't excited about that.
Okay. My low of the week. Maybe I'll start there.
Start there.
It's so hard to say. Not that a lot of bad things have happened. Sometimes you have a hard time remembering.
Yeah, what's happened?
I would say, I don't know. I'm just really tired of the winter. Mm-hmm. We're doing this, this is not going to go out super soon after it's recorded, but we're doing it the first week of March. And I feel like if you live in Michigan, by the first week of March, it's been so dark and cold and gross outside for so long. It's
not aesthetically pleasing either. Like Florida, if you look at photos, people when they live there all the time, it's just always so beautiful. And Michigan's only pretty in the fall and the summer.
It's just,
that's my hot take.
It's dirty outside.
Yeah, it just looks dirty.
It's like when the snow starts to melt and everything's just all muddy and just gross.
All the cars are nasty looking.
So that's my low for the week. I'm just tired of the weather. Mm-hmm. What is it? Oh, my high. I tried this new ice cream this week.
Okay, tell me about it.
Ben & Jerry's came out with a oatmeal cream pie flavor, which I haven't had an oatmeal cream pie in years because of all my health issues.
Yeah.
So I had it, me and my brother. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, and it was so good.
Ooh.
And I said, I wish they sold these oatmeal cream pies, just as oatmeal cream pies. And then I was like, hold on, they do. And I remembered they buy them from a company.
Okay.
And mix them into their ice cream. So it's literal.
Oh, okay. Pies. That's delicious. I'm going to have to try that one.
Only if you like oatmeal cream pies. Otherwise, don't eat it because it tastes exactly like what it sounds like.
Oh my gosh!
But it was so
that's good.
So that's my high.
Where'd you get that?
I got it at Family Fair.
Okay.
It's hard.
Shout out.
Shout
Not
out
sponsored.
Family Fair. I love Family Fair. My brother and I always shop there. Love it. Not sponsored. I'm just kidding. But would love to be.
I mean, hey, if Ben & Jerry's also
love Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's is awesome because they make a lot of their, not a lot, but they make specifically flavors for people with a lot of dietary restrictions.
Yep.
So I love Ben & Jerry's.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we're good connoisseurs of ice cream, if you know what I'm putting down here. We did have a good run at our local ice cream shop. We used to scoop that up for you. So, I feel like we're good judgment of ice cream.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I had a lot of ice cream in my lifetime. Okay.
Yeah.
I can literally talk about
We can just talk about anything, too.
I can talk about ice cream all day long, honestly. but that's not why we're here.
No.
So, listen, you guys already know Cassie. We don't need to get into Cassie's personal whole background like we usually do. If you want to, you can listen to Cassie's other episodes that she's in. Season 1, where we talked about like college roommates. And then season 2 finale was just me and Cassie talking.
We're hanging out. Talking about life. So
but today we're going to talk about something that we talk about all the time. Which is, how do you put it?
I always put it as post-college depression, but you can also just say post-grad life.
Yeah, because it could be college or high school, I suppose. It's like
it could be high school too, or like if you're in a different, it doesn't even have to be school related, but if you're like coming out of a stage that was really significant in your life and you're just kind of in a limbo type of era, I would say this applies.
Yeah, that's a good point, because last season I talked to my my former boss, and she we didn't talk about this really, but while she was talking, I realized it was very similar, just like making a huge career change from like literally changing a career, not changing jobs.
Right. Yeah. And we kind of touched on that because I related to that. Specifically because, I have my animal science degree, which I will always use because I want to have a farm. I was trying to figure out if I was going to go to vet school or not. But I decided that wasn't for me just because that debt is super large when you go to vet school. And I did not want to take that on personally. And so I'm actually looking at becoming an ultrasound tech so I can have some financial stability and, have a good work-life balance and be able to have a farm. So
it sounds like
it
sounds like you're interviewing for college right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, if you're listening out there.
If you're looking for any students.
Yeah. So I feel like if you're making a career change, this episode definitely will apply to that.
So how about we'll do this, like we can both go back and kind of say like our journey to college and then through college, because we're both very different in that.
Yeah.
And then kind of what happened after that.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay, so I went to a very small high school. We didn't have... I met a lot of people in college that went to like huge high schools, and they had all these different like classes and programs and things you could do. And my school was like kind of bare minimum, and then they had AP classes, and then you could do like sports. There wasn't really a lot of extra things they tried, but I mean it was a very small school, so I went to school, and I'm from a small town, so I went to school and I didn't really know what to do, and I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist, and then I realized genuinely like medical stuff grosses me out.
That's
like
fair.
I wouldn't be able to handle it.
That's fair.
So I decided not to do that. And then through my process of like deciding where to go to college, I decided where I was going to go, and then I didn't know what I was going to do anymore because I was going to go somewhere else and do something, and I didn't want to do either of those things. So I decided on my school, and then I was just like, okay, I'm going to look through their I think most colleges, they have a list of all their degrees or like the majors.
Yeah, they definitely.
So I just looked at that online, and I found the one I want to do.
Yeah, you're like, that's it.
I made it all the way. I was going to look through the whole list. I made it all the way to B. So, and I went to school for my degree is broadcast and cinematic arts. I decided on that in high school. I went to college. I did all the things that I could do, did well in my classes, was in a lot of extra stuff.
We were in so many clubs. I remember that when we were roommates.
Yeah,
we were like, I've got a club meeting tonight. See ya.
Yeah. And then I graduated. I never changed my major. I never thought about it. One of our roommates described me as all or nothing with no plan B. And I said,
That's so accurate, though.
True.
Oh, my goodness. I love that about you, though. I love that about you.
Well, I was just so, I was so dead set, and I was like, I'm going to move to LA or New York.
Yep.
I've been talking to these people. I went to a conference. Like, I was just so all in.
Yeah.
I graduated, and I had to move back home for a little bit just because I didn't have any money.
Yeah, fair.
And
we all hit that point.
Right. I had a part-time job that I was doing, which was kind of related to that.
Yeah.
I started working. I had like an on-set job for a few days doing something, which in Michigan, it's hard to work in entertainment. Like, let's be real, unless you live by Detroit, which I don't. And then COVID hit.
Oh,
and
gosh. Yeah.
I had been out of school for 3 months, and that's where I'll leave it for Cassie to take over.
All right. So my story is a little bit different than Madison's. I went to Madison and I live in the same town, if you don't know that. I went to a different school, though, in town, and literally went there forever. I don't really know if there's anything significant I have to say about it. It was a good school to go to. I enjoyed my time in high school and played softball, things like that. Took some local community college classes while I was in high school, and that helped with gen eds and things like that. Then I was like, I'm going to go to Central Michigan University right out of college. That was the plan. But I unfortunately went through some mental health things and some losses of friendships and a breakup that ultimately led me to going back to community college for a semester just to kind of like take some time for myself. And I think I just want to preface out there, like, if you need that right after you graduate from high school or college or whatever, it is super important to heal yourself first before taking on a lot of things. And if you think it's too much at that time, that's okay. Because I had some people be like, girl, what are you doing? You're supposed to be at Central. And I was like, I'm not okay right now. I need some time. So after a semester at community college, I then transferred to Central and decided I was going to study photojournalism because I love writing and I love photography, and that's what I was going to do. I worked for a few publications, lived with Madison. That was fun. And then I decided that industry just wasn't for me. And I transferred to Michigan State afterwards. So college number 3 and finished my degree there in animal science. I got a bachelor's of science there. Loved my time at Michigan State. But unfortunately, COVID did take a hit on me while I was in college. And I wasn't able to do everything in person for at least, I'd say, for a couple semesters. And then I graduated, and here we are. Life is now taking me on a different route. But I guess that's a summary of my college experience.
After I graduated, even before COVID, I think maybe you had come home for some reason, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I think I was visiting. I was like on a break, or, you know what it was? We got sent home from Michigan State's dorms, and I stayed as long as I could until they were like, yo, you gotta leave. And I was like, okay, why? And they were like, because it's COVID. You have to go home. So that's why I was home.
So it was probably in the summertime. You were around, and I was like, it's so weird after graduating.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people ever think about that.
Yeah.
How weird it is, and like how lost you feel to not have you go your whole life, everything is planned for you, like every second until you go to bed, and then you wake up and do it again.
I remember you saying this to me because it was like the summer before I graduated college, because I graduated in the fall semester, and I was like, haha, Madison, like, you got it, girl, like, you'll be fine. And you're like, no, Cassie, listen, it's gonna hit you, and it's gonna hit you hard, dude. And you're just serious about it. And I was like, yeah, all right. See you later. And then I came back after college graduation. I was like, oh, you are so right, dude.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, number one, if you don't get a job in your field that you want right away, which most people don't.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so weird. It's like, it makes you feel bad about yourself. Makes you feel like you just wasted all this time and money.
I feel like it's honestly the way I described it, and this might be a little harsh, but it was soul crushing for me when you apply to so many jobs and you're like, okay, I have this big degree now. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. And you make it through multiple rounds of interviews and things like that and prep yourself. And you're like, you know what? This is it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my big job. And then they're like, no, you don't have enough experience. So
it's like, first of all, I don't want to get mad, but like,
no, you can get mad.
Like, why?
You can get mad.
Why
it's
do
allowed.
People even interview you if you don't have enough experience?
Okay.
It's like, well, why did you even call me in here?
I honestly think it's just because they need to have more contenders to like look over and maybe, I don't want to say level the playing field, but I feel your pain. And this is in no way in any sort of like disrespect to anyone or any business or anything that like, you know, when you interview people, but like, I'm going to put it out there that when you have new graduates, somebody has to give them a chance to start. You know, they have their internship experience, they have life experience, and, you know, maybe they're not always right for the job, but sometimes you got to take a chance on people to get new workers in the field that you're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because then I think it's something that people always struggle with is like, how do you expect me to get experience
without
if no one will hire me? Like, I can't get this job because I don't have experience. I can't get experience because no one will let me try.
Yeah, I bet if we even put a poll up that everybody would say they felt this way at some point. So I think it's important if you're in a stage right now where you're going through this or, you know, trying to even just get your first job. Let's put that out there too. And they're like, you don't have experience. You really need to capitalize on your personality and your personal skills. And sometimes that's not even enough, but you got to just keep trying until somebody gives you a chance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, otherwise, that's the thing is like, it just makes you feel bad, but it's not really personal to you.
No.
When you don't get a job. I think that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Because it can take so long to even get like an interview.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really have anything to do with you. Like sometimes people are hiring I think you have to post a job or whatever.
Yeah,
but like people hire internally. People hire people's friends and family.
Yeah. You know, I think another way to look at it is, and I'm not trying to turn this into a whole job situation here on this podcast today, but this is how I trick my brain when I go into an interview now. So they're obviously interviewing you, but I think of it as I'm interviewing them.
Nice.
You know, put them in my shoes, because you have to think about it as wait, let me rephrase that. You have to think about it as being like, are they worthy of having me as an employee? Am I of value to them? Are they of value to me? You know, you just really need to think about it. Are they going to value what I bring to the table and things like that when you go into an interview? So you have to kind of go in there not conceited, but confident, kind of flipping the game a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously be on your own interview, you know, game, be on top of things, but you have to think about it that way too. Do you want to work for these people?
All right. What else made you depressed about graduating?
Oh, gosh.
I think for me, it really is just like, what do you do to fill your time? Because you have the rest of your life. Like, it's like all of the biggest questions in the world feel like they're just on
the table.
Where do you want to live? What do you need to get a new car? Are you going to live in an apartment? Are you going to live at home? Are you going to buy a house?
Do you have insurance?
Yeah. What do you do about insurance? I don't even understand it in general. What taxes? Oh, you're already doing those probably.
Are you renting or buying?
Right. Are you... Like, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? Are you looking for someone to date? Like, what?
It's so insane. The amount of people that asked me if I was engaged after I graduated college was insane. To preface, still not engaged, but it's okay. It's just maddening, man. Or they're like, oh, when are you guys gonna have kids? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just out here living.
Like, I am a kid.
I have a Labrador, and that's all I can take care of right now.
Literally. It's just, I think that's like, there's
so many questions.
I think it's so much change and so much you're trying to figure out at once. I don't know if that's like the whole premise behind it. But I think the reason we wanted to talk about this is because we talk about it a lot.
All the time still.
Like trying to comfort each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. And even if we're post-grad, like how long now? I've been out a year.
I've been out 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been out a year. You've been out 3. And, you know, it sometimes still feels like you're in that era of post-gradness, and we are technically, but it's going to be okay. And I think your 20s or whatever age you're honestly in, if you don't have it figured out yet, I don't think you ever will. You know, that didn't sound encouraging, but you know what I mean?
Have it figured out now, you never
no one ever has it figured out is what I'm trying to say. I
Yeah.
should say that. Like I told my papa, I literally was like, hey, like I'm waiting for X, Y, and Z to happen until this can happen. And he goes, listen. He sat me down real good. He was like, listen, you are never going to have your feet fully on the ground, Cass. And that's not to be demeaning or like you can't do it, but you're always going to be constantly evolving and growing, and there's always going to be things challenging you.
And I have tried to tell you something similar.
Yeah.
Because, well, here's the thing, too, is when you get older, like, I mean, we're not old by any means. But I mean, we're in our, like, early to mid-20s. That's not...
Are we mid-20s?
I'm mid-20s.
Okay, I shouldn't say you. Other people out there are mid-20s. I just have a soul fear of becoming 25 right now.
That's interesting.
You're
going to be 25 next year.
Stop.
Well, what are you scared of it for?
I don't know. Okay, well, if you're 25 out there and listening, I have nothing against you. It's just a personal thing.
Year.
It's a personal thing for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just feel like I think
Your quarter
it's
life crisis.
Yeah, there's a song that's actually called that.
Okay.
It's a good listen. It kind of relates to this podcast, so give it a listen.
Check it out. Who's it by?
I can't remember her name.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Just look up quarter life crisis and hope
it's
that it's
really
right.
good. I think it went viral on TikTok, but I think the biggest thing that really made me sad or depressed, honestly, after college was I felt like I was grieving. Like I was grieving a period of my life. Like no more school. You can't go see your friends every day. No more parties. Like it's just like, you know, it felt so like free and wild and like fun. And then I was like, well, that's over. It's
but
done.
The thing is, you can still do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and it took me a minute to figure that one out though.
But the hard part is sometimes you have to move home and your friends move away.
Yeah, that's hard too.
But okay, what I was saying about us being old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is like a lot more happens. You have a lot more responsibility. There's more things can go wrong. There's more room for that.
Yeah.
So what I try to tell you, we've had this conversation a lot, but I'll always be like, I think about the future, but I try not to really like plan or too much or worry because like anything can happen at any moment and you can't do anything about it. Like right now, you could just punch me right in the face and I could just hit my eye could be swollen and like you could break my nose and now I have a crooked nose forever.
You know, even on like, okay, this is kind of a serious note here. I had a coworker that I worked with not that long ago. She recently passed away.
Oh, wow.
And we weren't like super close or anything, but I cared for her obviously. But she was like our age, Mads, and I was just like, you know, that I kind of had like a sadness mental breakdown situation the other day. You know, like we weren't best friends or anything, but what I'm trying to get at here is that life does change very quickly, and I think we forget how long we don't even know how long we have on the earth. But so I think that ties into what you're saying too, is, you know, you just need to live your life, you know. I tend to get planning way too far ahead. I mean, I plan probably 10 years out in advance. And then I get highly disappointed by things that don't happen. I do. Or if plans change, I'm like, well, that was a fail.
Everything's terrible.
Yeah,
it's
right.
over.
But that's not the case. There's other ways that I can be successful. But what I was getting at with that little story about my coworker is that, you know, we're just not guaranteed how much time we have, and I think we need to use it wisely.
Yeah. Well, because I told you that because I think, that's another big thing that's happened since I graduated college is like finding out I have a disease, like an autoimmune disease, and I'm going to have it forever. And I found that out when I was 22, and I'm just going to have to live with that forever, and it's like pretty impactful on every single waking moment of my entire life. So
Yep.
I try, like, that's what I try to tell you is like, we worry we worry that bad things will happen, or we don't think they're gonna happen, but like they can just happen, so I don't worry about it because it already happened. Like, like I already know that bad things can just happen suddenly, and your life can change suddenly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I try, like, that to me makes me feel like, okay, even though I may not be where I want to be with my career or with my like money, finances or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't mean that like I'll never get there.
Right. Period. Mic drop. Mic drop.
I think that's a thing about like social media and stuff too, in terms of when you graduate college, is you see all these people on there that are like 22 and millionaires, and you're like,
oh gosh,
that's not realistic.
Yeah, it's like 1 in a million or whatever, but, and you know, good for them. That's awesome. That's amazing. And all that, but it's just like, you know, life doesn't always go that way. And we're not trying to be Debbie Downers here.
No.
We're just being very realistic. And your life can still be amazing with where you're at. I mean,
I also think it's freeing to not like, like, I don't think I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. I don't care.
Honestly, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right. Like, that's not what I don't want to just have a bunch of money. Like, if you just know what you want to do and you work towards it, then what more can you really ask for? And I think it's freeing to know that, like, yeah, anything can happen at any moment, but also like anything can happen
at any moment.
Like, that's so exciting.
Like, there's this one thing that I say at work a lot, and it's either to myself or I'll say it out loud sometimes, but it's like,
Hold on, I gotta ask, when you're saying it out loud, is anyone listening, or you're just saying it? Okay.
Yes, people are typically listening.
Okay, cool.
So it's do what you can with what you have and where you're at. It's very simple but effective. Do what you can with where you're at and what you have.
And I think that applies to after college. When you're just like, you're so confused.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, hey, I made it after college, and now I'm thinking about going back to college. And some people are really like, I don't want to say salty that I'm doing that, or like, maybe the word
furious.
Maybe the word is confusion, because I think they think that I don't love agriculture anymore, and that's not the case. It's just I didn't plan, or I was going to like move out west or go to vet school, and my life has just changed, and that's not the plan right now. My plan, end game, is to have a bunch of cows, let's be honest, and you need some serious financial stability to do that. And anyways, that's just, you know, life changes, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think too, people get so stuck on like they need to do what they thought they were going to do when they graduated from high school and went to college. And like, I personally have like stuck with it, but not like within what I'm doing. I've changed my mind a lot. I've done a lot of different things.
Right.
You've done a lot of different things. Like, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want at any time.
Right. And honestly, if other people are judging you for that, do you really want them in your life, or do you want them surrounding you and being in your circle? No.
Right.
Answer is no. You can change what you're going to do, and it doesn't mean you have to stop what you were doing. Like, I'm going to continue, you know, being an advocate and sharing about farming and agriculture and all the things I'm doing, and I'm also going to, you know, study something else that I'm really interested in and enjoy that and whatever comes along with it. So I think it's okay to change your mind. Let's throw that out there too.
Yeah.
Just like when you're in college, if you're not even post-grad, like just in college and thinking about switching majors and you're worried about what people are going to think, just do it. Just do what you want.
People would all like it. You'd be surprised at the amount of people that will tell you that. Like, if you're not in college or whatever, like, so many people are like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I'm like halfway through school or whatever. I always, and I said this to you, you can vouch for it, I say this to everybody. Would you rather, if you can, like, take on the loans or whatever, or you can afford it, whatever you're doing, would you rather do that for one extra year of your life and then be able to do what you want to do, or just do something you don't want to do so that you can miss out on one more year of school?
Yeah, and if finances are something you're concerned about, that's okay too. I mean, that's why I'm not mainly going to vet school, but I I also researched that a bunch, and I also talked to people in the field about their debt and things like that. And that is a personal decision I made. And I can always, I have my bachelor's in animal science. I can always go back to vet school when I'm an old lady if I want. It's always going to be there.
Go back to school when you're 60 years old.
But I'm really interested in ultrasound, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And you know what? Oh, this is actually my high of my week. I changed my answer.
Do it.
Yesterday, I did a ultrasound guided cystocentesis on a cat, which means I used an ultrasound to guide the probe over the bladder and found it, and used a syringe to extract urine from the cat that we needed for a lab. But hey, I did it, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
There you go, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I graduated, I had a mental breakdown of sorts.
Yeah.
And one of my friends said to me, which is like a very super obvious thing, but like I just needed someone to say to me, whatever job you get right out of school isn't the job you have to do for the rest of your life.
Right.
Like whether that means you want to do this for 10 years and then go back to school and do something else, or it means you couldn't get a job in your field right away for whatever reason, and you have to take a job. Like, there's no shame working at a store. There's no shame working at a restaurant.
There's no shame working anywhere. And honestly, I applaud people so much in the service industry, especially after I was a waitress. I mean, like, whatever you're doing, if you're a dishwasher, if you're a garbage man, if you're, I don't know, sweeping the floor at a store, I don't care what you're doing, do it with honor and do it, just do it the best you can. It does not mean anything about you and where you're going to be at in life. And honestly, someone has to do it.
Right.
So just be that person for that time and let it be your stepping stone, Stepping stone to greatness, man. Sweep that floor like you mean it.
I just think when you're a kid, you think so much about, like, I need to have this career and like this needs to be my whole life. But then you get out of school and it's more like, I want to have this life.
Yeah.
What kind of career should I have to make that happen? Like, because in it too, like when you're looking at something from the outside, you don't always know how it works until you get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge. I mean, I didn't really understand how journalism was working until I started working for publications, and I realized in college that, that wasn't for me. But I wouldn't have known that unless I worked for some publications, You just don't know until you try. If you're out there and you're struggling, take a second for yourself. Just take a step back, and that's completely okay. And do whatever you need to do to like get your self-care in. If that's going to the gym, great. If that's staying at home and watching movies and snuggling on the couch with your dog, that's great too. Just take care of yourself. I think at the end of the day, that's my mic drop to all this is you need to take care of yourself and do what's best for you. Obviously think about, others and what they have to say and take that in, but you just need to, be yourself and do what you want.
I would say, that's interesting you bring that up. I agree. I think there's a difference between people like you telling, like, let's say for you, just as an example, let's just say you were to go home and tell your parents, I want to go back. I think I'm going to go back to school. You tell like them and your boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're asking you questions. That doesn't mean that they're not like, for it. Yeah. There's a difference between like them making sure you've thought it through and like being supportive in that way and like making sure that that's something you actually want to do. You're not just like randomly doing something.
Doing it like out of the blue.
Yeah. And it like, there's a difference between that and people just not being supportive.
Yes.
And I think it's important to understand, like, for me, what I do, nobody around here does it. So it's like people get confused or don't really understand it. So it's like, should I explain it, or do they just think this is stupid?
Or like, I'm gonna put it out there. They don't know what they don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think that's so important to focus on is, just understanding that sometimes people are just curious and they want to know why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, my whole family asked me that question after I like got my bachelor's degree and now I'm going back to school, and they're like, why? Like, some people are against it. That's fine. And honestly, that's a reflection of them and not me. But you just need to take everything into account and do what's best for you and your life and how you want to live. But also, I also want to put this in there. It's not really related to this, but
great.
because we were talking about careers and jobs and people you're working with, make sure you work with people that support you and guide you and teach you in a positive way. I think that's huge. Some of my veterinarians I work for right now are just amazing people and have done a great job at mentoring me and giving me the space to grow. So whatever you go into, just make sure, you're with people that are protecting your energy and helping you grow. I just wanted to put that in there. I know it wasn't like really what we were talking about, but.
No, you're right though. There is a different, I think that's important too when you're going into things like my brother said one time, when I first got out of college, I was just looking for anybody that would hire me because I needed money.
Yeah.
But now that I'm more established, I'm like, okay, this is what I like need from a job.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I just need the job.
Right. That's good, Mads. If anyone was wondering, I did figure out who sang that song.
Okay.
Quarter Life Crisis. It's by Taylor Bickett.
Okay.
So check that out on Spotify. Not sponsored, just thought it was a good vibe.
Do you have any advice for anyone? And this whole thing is, I guess, been advice. Yeah. I don't ever want to feel like I'm like pushing my advice on to people.
Right.
It's just my own.
Take it with a grain of salt. Listen to it, and if you flow with what we're saying, that's cool. And if not, that's fine too. I mean,
do your thing. Do
your thing. We just want you to feel like you have support wherever you need it, and this is what we're talking about here. So
if you need support, I guess.
No, I mean like from us or I don't know, this episode. I think it has a lot of value in it that people can take away, and maybe they'll also feel that way. Yeah. Maybe it'll make them feel less alone, because we feel less alone when we talk about it together.
I know, because often I do feel like... I get that.
That people don't understand it. But I guess my only advice is just really be genuine to yourself, to others, and, live your life and have a good life. Yeah, I don't know.
Your time to do whatever you want.
I just think there's so many expectations on people at this age. Even when you're at a different age, there's always going to be really strong and heavy expectations on yourself. But I think you just need to, do what works for you and be genuine about your life and live passionately. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're not hurting anybody, do whatever you want. I don't care. If you want to, sell socks. Literally, if you want to fly to the moon, fly to the moon.
I mean, I told Jason the other day, Jason's my boyfriend, if you didn't hear the other episode. I told him, I was like, maybe I'll start figure skating. That looks fun. And he was like, and he straight up was like, huh? Just because I caught him off guard.
Yeah,
but then
thing to say,
but I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right. I mean, sure.
Yeah, if you want,
I don't know. We'll see if I do that.
Try a new hobby. If you want to be...
If you want to switch your career.
Do you want to switch your career?
Do you want to move states? Do it. I don't know. If you want to stay here, that's fine too.
Live in your car like I do. Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in my car. I want to travel in a car. People get confused.
Okay, but also make decisions wisely too. Because I almost was going to say, don't go. If you want to get a puppy, but don't get 9. Have you seen Bridesmaids? Yeah. Where she's like, how many did you take? How many do you have? She's like, I took 9. I took 9.
Maybe think
as long as you can take care of them. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's my animal science coming out here on the podcast.
I mean, do anything that you can handle.
Yeah, there's a good way to put it. I feel like that's a good endpoint right there.
Yeah. I hope somebody got something out of this.
Yep. And I mean, thanks for having me again. This was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I hope this isn't the finale. I mean, you need to have other people on here too.
It's just gonna be me and you over and over and over.
Non-stop.
No.
Cool. Well, I've got nothing else.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Thanks so much again to Cassie for being on the show this week. If you have a story you want to personally share on the show, want to be read on air, or a topic you'd like to see discussed, find us on Instagram and Facebook at JustAPersonPod, or send us an email at justapersonpod@gmail.com. And we'll see you next Monday with another new episode.